Finally, AFCON is here to be hosted in Morocco. Nigerian Super Eagles look ready to take on the competition. Now, the big questions we'll be talking about in today's video is where will Nigerian Super Eagles finish? Who should be starting the first game? How should the team approach that first game versus Tanzania? And of course, we'll be talking about these changes, the proposed changes or actually substantive changes made by CAF, announced by Motsepe, the president of CAF for African football. Now, you're welcome to the channel. If you're new, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's go straight into it. So, first off, the AFCON is here, 21st. First game we play today, opening ceremony, I think should take place today as well. And then of course Nigeria will be playing Tanzania on the 23rd of Tuesday. That will be the first game for Nigeria in the AFCON. Now, where should Nigeria finish, or where would Nigeria finish? I would love to say Nigeria would win the title. I would love to say Nigeria would be the champions of Africa. But looking at some aspects of this team, yes, you have Victor James Osimhen, yes, you have Ademola Lookman, yes, you have Ebenezer Kinsimiro that have been clamoring for finally he's in the team. But there are certain things that make you scratch your head, that just drop some elements of doubts in your heart about Nigeria actually winning this tournament. First off, you look at how the team was constructed or had been constructed overall. You see the likes of Osimhen, Mohamed there, shouldn't be there. Uche Crisanto should have been that one in that midfield, but for some reason we have Osimhen there. The left back situation, I think Felix Agu is a big miss. He's not there. Looking at the striking situation, should have had Tola Rokodare or Rafiu Derushimi come in. Rather, we're having a new boy who is not he's not playing for a particularly notable side, in Salim Fago. Due respect to him, if you receive the call to play for Nigeria, whether you're playing for a six-a-side team or a Sunday League team, you honor that call. So no issues with him whatsoever. But I think the way this team has been constructed isn't all too great. And then the second thing is Eric Chelle, the way he's gone about, the way he went about that game versus Egypt. And then if that was just an isolated incident, you would say, okay, Nigerian Super Eagles should be fine. He just tried to experiment a bit for a next to meaningless friendly game. But you've seen him do this sort of thing before in games that had meaning. He did it in the playoff final that contributed in costing Nigeria a place in the intercontinental playoff. So you've seen him do this in key games, and you've seen what he's done with his substitutions as well, just hoping that he sticks to what has worked. Because he came in, I think he was using a 4-3-3, and later on he stumbled upon, or whether by commission or by omission or by design, he came upon this 4-2-2 formation, and Nigeria wasn't beaten using that 4-2-2 formation. So there's no need to depart from it. If he sticks to it, I think Nigeria would have a chance. And of course, you have teams like Morocco, you have teams like Egypt, you have teams like Senegal that are more organized and more put together, actually have their best available players in their team, as opposed to Nigeria that we decided to leave Philippe Potele on the table, leave him back in Switzerland as opposed to have him in the team. So we haven't come with our absolute best in every area. Victor Osimhen, of course, top player, we have him in there, and of course you also have Ademola Lookman. So you have some good elements in this team, but that means Eric Chelle, you have to be on your game. This football tactics has to stop. There must be some plan to that long ball. I'm not saying you don't play long ball. There must be some plan to it. So let me know your opinions in the comment section. Where do you think Nigeria will finish in this tournament? I would say semi-finals. I think we should have just about enough to say semi-finals. Do I see Nigeria getting to the final? Not too sure. Do I see Nigeria winning the tournament? Not too sure. At this point, let me know your opinions. Whether you're more confident than I am, let me know in the comment section. Now, some changes to African football. Yeah. Now we've come upon said CAF, the African Football Cup of Nations will no longer be a biennial tournament. It's not going to be every 2 years. It's going to be once every 4 years. Now, some people are celebrating and saying, "Oh, it's too much burden on the players playing every other game." But then, true to form, they introduced another tournament that is going to be the African Nations League, mirroring it against the European Nations League. And I look and say, what's the point? People don't get why you have that European Nations League. You have it because they figured out that when they didn't have meaningful games in those international breaks, so hence introduce the European Nations League, more meaningful games, a trophy you can win at the end of it. And then I think sometimes it has some bearing on World Cup qualification or Euro qualification or thereabouts, right? But for Africa, you already have a biennial tournament. You have an African Cup of Nations that's once every 2 years, and so a continental tournament is already meaningful. Yes, and then you go and decide to make it once every 4 years just to create another tournament. And for me, the shape of this new tournament, or this Nations League, if you want to call it, it's counterintuitive in my opinion. They said it's going to be regional, just as they done waffle. I think this is to ensure certain countries get top honors, like likes of South Africa. I'll have to say it, right? Because I don't get this thing of, you play only regional, and then when you're done, you then go and play another set of tournament, another sort of a mini tournament to see who becomes the winner of the Nations League. Let's see how that shakes out. So let me know your opinions on this new format of the Nations Cup and this new tournament called the African Nations League. What do you think about it? Now, who are the main beneficiaries of this tournament? I'll tell you, it's European clubs. And I'll tell you this, ever since FIFA decided to dabble into the club football space, as opposed to staying true to their main focus, their main ethos, which is focusing in on the World Cup or international football or national team football, there has been this thing by Infantino to want to placate the clubs. We saw it in the under-20s where they came up with this weird sort of machination to say clubs were not bound to release players. We're not bound to release players for a tournament that is on the FIFA calendar, official calendar. Say clubs could hold on to players, and this even meant academy players, not even say players that play for the first team for a Chelsea or for a Manchester United or Liverpool or Leeds United. For the academy, the clubs could decide to hold on to players and not release them, and they did that to Nigeria. And as well, look at what FIFA did with the AFCON itself, a tournament that you should be releasing players 2 weeks to. FIFA said clubs could hold on to players till 5 days to the tournament. So that just tells you the whole thing that FIFA are trying to do. They're trying to do their best to placate the European clubs to say, okay, we're going to take care of you. We're going to make sure you can hold on to players XYZ, and so we can have our Club World Cup. And essentially that's what FIFA is trying to do. So the main beneficiaries of this, the clubs, and then FIFA itself, because of the monies they'll be getting from competitions like the Club World Cup. Because if you're talking about player development, AFCON is far better to have that AFCON than to have a Nations League, because like I said, in Europe, from day one, it's always been a 4-year tournament. The Euros, a 4-year tournament, once every 4 years. So there was a need to say, instead of having these international breaks where we're just having friendly games, let's have a Nations League in it. So you have a tournament that's already 2 years, once every 2 years. You now that more than serves the purpose of a Nations League, because it's a meaningful tournament. And then you go change it up to once every 4 years, and then you now have a Nations League. So for me, I don't quite get why the change was made. I don't feel like you should make changes just for the sake of changing it. And if it's not broken, there's no need to change it. But they've changed it. Let's see how it all shapes up. Maybe you can argue that that's one more trophy to win. Let's see how it shapes up. So at this point in time, I've come to the end of this video. Let me know your total opinions in the comment section. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on another video. Stay well, stay blessed.